When pressure goes up, does your confidence go down or does your leadership become stronger? The strong leadership in the room may not be the loudest, it may be the one who stays calm when everyone else feels the pressure. Our guest, Usha Nagrani, is an executive leadership coach who works with senior leadership facing pressure, difficult decisions, difficult situations, and major career moments. Her focus on helping leaders finds clarity, trust their judgment, and led with calm confidence. Her public profile describes more than two decades of work with senior leadership professionals across the globe. Pressure is getting louder, but strong leaders are learning to become calmer inside. The World Economic Forum says resilience, flexibility, agility are now core skills for 67% of the employers. Today, let's bring Usha Nagrani to understand how calm confidence can improve decisions and trust leadership. Welcome to our show, ma'am. How are you today, ma'am?
I am good, Mr. Prem. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here and hosting me.
Thank you, ma'am. A small intro about yourself before we dive into the topic, ma'am.
Sure. As I'm sure you would have told your viewers, my name is Usha Nagrani. I am an Indian born and brought up in New Delhi. From past 20 years, I am working and living in Qatar. And in this phase of my life, I am an executive leadership coach. I let people discover their inner strengths and make them stronger and deal with everyday pressures as well as work pressures with calmness. That's
Thank you
who
for
I
that.
am.
Thank you for that intro, ma'am. Before we dive into the topic, I just wanted to run a small video about Power of Knowing Forum, and then we
Sure.
will dive into the topic, ma'am.
Sure.
Welcome to Power of Knowing Forum's Permanent Conclave. And, ma'am, let's start with the beginning. What exactly is calm confidence?
Okay, that's a very nice way of asking. Calm confidence is actually nothing special. It's just the ability to be confident in any high pressure situation and be resilient to life. That is what I call it in a nutshell, calm confidence. We can define it like how long can you handle the pressure? When pressure builds up, are you able to hold it, or do you start panicking and start acting or behaving differently? That's how I define it. And it's saying that enough insight to give your best even when environment is not conducive.
Got it, ma'am. Now, what does calm confidence really mean in leadership and why it's becoming more important in today's environments?
See, in today's environment, what happens is that everybody wants things to be faster than ever. And there is a constant way to move, do more, do this, do that. So there is always this pressure, not only from your job, from peers, but from everybody. So that it's important so that you can actually hold on to yourself and take the right decisions at right times. It's like why it's the same question asking like why we need to meditate more in today's age when AI is there and everything is there. We should be sitting quietly. No, it is required because then only we can realize our full potential.
No, what I've seen is people at many occasions seem to be very confident. But
Mhm.
how is this calm confident different from simply looking confident?
See, the confident, the way I explain to it is that confidence is on the outside, okay? On the outside, you and me are having a lot of confidence to deliver this podcast. A lot of people will say, wow, so confident people. But nobody knows that before we could show this external confidence, we had to work on ourselves. I'm sure with your 389 blogs, you still will be preparing for each blog. You still will be going and managing each question or each thing to be rehearsed. So, calm confidence actually means doing inner work on your own self, making sure that when you are in a situation, you do not see, oh, what should I do? What should I do? No, you take a pause, take deep breaths, and really understand what should be my next step and how should I tackle this situation. You should be able to mental map it rather than just going in panic and just doing it.
Okay. So can a can a leader be calm, still strong, be strong, ambitious, and demanding? Because there are three different stages that we are talking about: strong, ambitious, and demanding. So what is your take on it?
Yes, yes. Leader can always be a calm, ambitious, demanding, as well as strong. Why? Because calm confidence is, to me, it is like a superpower. It is like having the strength, you are strong, but you able to use that strength. It's same like having your muscles. Like
Mm,
when there is a person who's bulky, but if he cannot lift certain weights, he doesn't have the muscles. Same way, when you have the confidence, you have done the inner work, you have the inner power to take pause, look at the situation, apply your mind, and then get to the situation. So to me, it's almost like a superpower or hidden power where you have built your muscles. So whenever the time comes and you need to do heavy lifting in terms of pressure, without a problem, you can do it. And that you cannot build in one day, you have to build it over time.
yeah, I think what you're saying is leadership or becoming calm comes with practice. That's the first point, and you need to face situations where there is more of pressure, but still you remain calm, understand what is going on, and then respond or give rather than reacting. That's the first point that I think you should learn to become calmer, right? And
Yes.
that's the more detailed point where you see. I've learned one thing, ma'am, is that my boss, Mr. David C. Matthew, used to tell me was that when you are in a meeting, you don't start with the meeting. So you understand what is the perspective that everybody in the room has.
True.
And then collectively take all the details and list them out saying that one, two, three, these are the pointers given by these stakeholders. And then you summarize after hearing everybody. With that summarization, you also understand all the pain points that are there with the team or the stakeholder. Then you can respond stakeholder one, stakeholder two, this is what we said and this is how it is to be done, this is where we can look at, and if it is cannot be discussed or done in this meeting, we will say we'll have to postpone it or talk about
True.
this when coming in the next week. So he gave me that structure where in any meeting we are supposed to listen till the end so that you get all the pointers where the people want to tell in that meeting and you head the meeting. So most of the time what I've seen is leaders speak first and half of the time the people who are sitting as stakeholders, oh, this guy does not understand, and he's given all the pointers already, he's gone into a conclusion. So that's
Sure.
the situation, I think, what happens. Now, with that pointer, what changes when a leader starts responding with clarity instead of reacting under pressure?
Okay. So, in that situation, I have my favorite word, which I learned from my coach, that is what you focus on expands. So, as you said, the leader who listens first and reacts later is the one who wins his team's trust. So, when he's focusing on pressure, he will build up pressure and everybody will panic.
Yeah,
Whereas when this person is focusing on solution, we will get solutions. And instead of panicking, he will gather the team, he will listen to them, he will get ideas, and he will get to the solution. So that's how calm confidence or inner work helps a leader more in a pressure situation than in what he is doing when he's panicking. This is the difference I have seen with many leaders also.
got it, ma'am. So what we are also saying is keep it simple. Calm confidence does not mean that being silent, right? That's the first point. Also, then avoiding difficult conversation, because you are calm, you cannot say that I this is a difficult conversation, it's a high pressure situation, I will not handle this. And moving slowly also is one pointer, that you cannot be, doesn't mean that you can take decisions at a later stage. uh, Agree with everyone, that's a bigger challenge, that we say yes to everything, and finally when we ask, that day you said yes, so we did not do it. So these are conversations are, and at times some strict action has to be taken or given, a message has to pass. We keep that emotion of saying that that guy will get offended, so we will be hiding those emotions. That's what we should not be doing, I think. It means a leader can feel pressure but still think clearly before acting. That's the point that we want to look at. And the customer, for example, a customer is angry, but
Mhm.
you don't want to respond. You will say, okay, a project failed. You don't want to take ownership or tell anything. So that's where, so still there are, when you see at situations, when you are at the CXO level or the board level pointers, the board will be asking difficult questions, right?
Yes.
And when you meet the board, you are supposed to give answers, because board wants answers rather than questions, right? So it needs numbers. Board understands numbers better than any other conversations, right? So I think that's the pointer. But calmness does not remove urgency, it removes unnecessary panic, is what I wanted to say with that pointer. And coming to the next point, what happens to a leader and to the team when pressure starts controlling the leader?
See, like any other situation, like laughter, like sadness, pressure is contagious too. So, any leader who comes under pressure, he will give that pressure to his team also. It will be percolated. So, there are a lot of people who will start panicking and who will start ordering things. You do this, you do this, you do this. So, that is a leader actually who's creating a panic. And I have seen it in my real life example. With such leaders, teams stop going to them, stop trusting them, and stop giving them lot many things. Whereas another leader who understands, see, every leader has a pressure, and to answer your question, they have to answer difficult, they have to take difficult conversation, they have to take on the board. So
Hmm.
they have to act like I would say like a common sense, that okay, what is the situation, how much is the risk I am taking, what is it that I don't know, and then what are my limitations, what are my challenges. If you do all this assessment as a leader, and you don't have to tell your team that I don't understand this or I'm don't panicking, just call a team meeting, gather everybody, and like what just you now said, that your mentor told you to listen to everybody. So
Yeah.
let's listen to the team, and once we listen to the team, panic would not be there. Maybe you will get so many ideas. The leaders will get the answers. So it's not. And today's time, nobody is an all rounder. We are in 21st century. Everybody has loads of information, but the person who has the right way of dealing with people and dealing with calmness can be a great leader. That's what a difference between a leader and a manager or a CXO would be. Because a CXO can be a leader, but for to be a leader, you don't need to be a CXO. You could be a manager or a specialist, but still you are a leader. You will gather your followership by your actions and by how much how you react to a situation, whether you are proactive and reactive. That defines everything. That's how I would say about this question.
God, remember what we are also seeing is, when you want the team to be confident, you need the leader to be also in control, right? And that's the first point that I am getting to what you are saying. Now, with that, what are the early signs that pressure is affecting the leader's judgment?
See, the early signs are what I have seen in my career and with leaders, that there are certain leaders. I will first say what is a calm leader, okay?
Hmm.
Someone
Hmm.
who doesn't get affected. He will be, first of all, he will be very honest and open and transparent with his team that, see, we have this situation. Let's brainstorm, sit together, and work on it. So that ways, the team wins the trust. Whenever next time team even makes a blunder, they don't mind going back to their leader,
Yeah.
and then leader can make the situation. Whereas when a leader gets pressurized, he says, okay, you do this, you do this. He will try to cover up whatever pressure is coming. So in fact, instead of dealing with the problem, he's creating more problems for himself and the team, and slowly team will lose the trust. They will just stop suggesting ideas, because as you also mentioned that the minute leader says, I want this done, team knows that, okay, now we don't have to say anything, we just have to follow the orders. So it becomes more autocratic style than democratic and participative.
Again, I'll go back to my bosses or my mentors' pointers. Used to say, if you listen to your team members and what they want to say, I think half of your project problems will be solved, because they will come up with new ideas which you would have never thought of.
True.
And he used to always say, talk to them of the projects, of the work that you are there at times. Talk to them about their family, talk to them about their hobbies, talk to them what they would like to eat, some personal thing. So, when I was part of Wipro for a very long time, we had this team expenses given to every team member as a budget which has been allocated. So what we used to do is, every year we had certain amount, and I had a large team. So what I used to do is, we will never take any lunch, dinner, stuff like that, and we used to collect that money and take one day off, Saturday or one Sunday, one Saturday, Friday night we'll travel. Sunday evening or Monday early morning we'll reach back. That's the idea that we used to take. And while going, most of the team members would not know each other, because different projects and stuff.
Yeah.
When you bring them all together, we never used to talk uh, about projects. We used to talk about how the trip is, what we are going to go to the trip, what is that we are having in the trip. There will be there a campfire. Will you have non-veg food? You will have some uh, drinks, or you want some party thing that has to
Hmm.
be done. So that was part of the this one, and we used to carry some of our juices and drinks. So we go there, sit, and what we used to do is, stop talking about the projects, right? So they'll start having food. They, most of them were non-drinkers, so it was an advantage for us. And uh, food, we preferred non-veg so that they can have that food and they start eating. By the time the personal thing is done, so first Saturday night personal is drained. Now you have Sunday left, whole day they don't know what to talk. They think about projects now. Without asking, they'll start talking. And they'll say, sir, this is a problem that I have in the project. इस इसको कैसे solve करूं?
True.
इसको कैसे करूं? Then I'll ask, what is the problem? So then I'll tell him, this is a team member who's working in the similar project. He has a similar this one. Can you speak to him? Then we collaborate. And I was part of the platform and storage practice where
Okay.
we used to have server storage. That time this cloud, this one was not there. We were all
Still
physical
working on
infrastructure.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, all data centers. We built data centers. We installed servers, all rack mounting, all those things. Physical hardware we used to see, right? Last 10 years, I think we more of
Yeah.
cloud. Before that, it was more of physical hardware. You have the Sun servers, you have the IBM servers or the Dell servers coming in, or the Cisco servers coming in, build everything. And we used to talk how is the integration going. If you are a platform and storage, your data has to go out of the network. So network guys have to be there. Now your
True.
data is going out of the network safely, you need security guys. So every bottleneck was coming there and we had the team members there in the now getting those people to talk solved 80% of my problems.
True.
Right. And that is the easiest way I think we brought teams to coordinate between themselves, get that strength. You don't need a leader to guide them. They will talk among themselves, and they'll. If you ask them, then you have a problem, sir. I spoke to that guy. That guy gave me a solution. So it is done. Your 80% of the work is done. So what I felt was that that was a boon for us to talk to people, collaborate, talk more, and our in South India at least, we know at least 3, 4 languages, which is easy. If you are a Telugu speaking guy, I can speak in Telugu. If you are Tamil speaking guy, I can speak in Tamil. If you are Kannada, I can speak in Kannada. Hindi is by default for us. English is again default. So you have covered the 4 states, right? Malayalam I can understand, but I cannot speak at the fluency. So it was a boon for us to talk to any state guy and make them understand. I was
True.
handling India, Middle East, Africa regions. So it was easy for me to handle because of these challenges. And that is how I think my boss always used to tell, saying that this is what is needed for the team to be confident on what they are doing. And they will come out to say, if there is a mistake, my boss will handle it.
True.
Right? I think that's the bigger statement that I want. Now, with that point, in your understanding, how does a leader stress affect confidence and behavior of the team?
See, a leader's confidence definitely affects the team because, to run a team, as you rightly said, they need to interact and know each other beyond the work person. See, we are not robots. We are humans. We are dynamic and we have our own things, and we need to interact. So, if team is pressurized, obviously they will start panicking and they will start looking at things. Whereas in a team which is cohesive together, it works well. I have seen this. You are talking. See, we in India we are diverse. I have from past 20 years. I'm working in Qatar, where we are multicultural. At any
Mm.
given point of time, we work with 19, 20 different nationalities. And we also have although we have the common language English and people who speak Arabic, because Qatar has 2 languages, Arabic and
Yeah.
English, but still we all converse in English and we all converse. And recently, past few months, my office had a communication training where everybody came from CEO to the last person, and we all sat together and we also came to the same conclusion which you said, that we all should talk to each other rather than sending emails and talking through systems. We should talk like humans and connect like humans. Things would be better. So yes, a team which is leader is pressurized, he will pressure everyone. And I have seen in my current organization, our CEO is very calm. Whatever problems you take to him, he will give you an answer. So what? Do like this or do like that. And he's so approachable despite being a CEO of a huge organization, that if I, as a specialist, ask him that I need time, he will come back to me. His secretary will come back to me. So he never panics. And during the recent geopolitical situation also, I think our organization did not panic. We were working from home, and I've seen a lot many organizations where leadership was forthcoming and did not let the pressure affect the organization. Work went smoothly. Nobody panicked and nobody there. Whereas certain organizations, especially customer facing retail people, I have seen they are so agitated. Why? Because maybe their leader was agitated.
Got it. Now, I think what you're saying also is, if you understand that panicking does not help, that's the
Yes.
first point. I think we should understand. You panic, it can be worse, but in that panic mode, if you stop and pause for a moment and think what next to do, what is that we need to look at, how is the team feeling, I think half the battle we are won there, is what my understanding says. What can a leader do first, do in the first few minutes of a difficult situation to avoid reacting badly?
So, what he can do is, first of all, take a big deep breath
Okay.
and see how these things, look at the bigger picture. Whenever I have been faced with a bad situation, and there have been many, I can cite one. Last year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I didn't panic. I just went to my boss and told him, like, see, this is what has happened. I would love to continue working and I would love to continue supporting you, but I need some time off. So
Mhm.
I developed a kind of framework which I now use with other people also. I call it still.
Okay.
Stay calm, trust your truth. I means identify yourself. First L means don't, be clear what you don't want to lose. And the last L is lead with your heart. So, and I applied it in my situations, and look at it. Even today, after 1.5 years after getting treated, I am a warrior. I'm still continuing my job. I'm still continuing my coaching. So, if and I'm running my own race, I'm not competing with anybody.
And there is one important pointer that I heard is that why to compete when you can collaborate. I think
Yes, that too.
that is a very important point. I think that's where we've been collaborating with few of the organizations that are there, whom I'm listing down here. Some of the communities that we can connect, and speakers from these communities come and talk about the technology, the cyberspace side, the strategic side, the growth side. We have leaders coming and talking in our podcast series, saying that this is what they want to convey to the organizations or the people around the audience in specific. It varies from a junior uh, engineer to a CXO. That's the varied that reach that we are having with our speakers. Now, what I see is pressure often shows up through small behaviors. People, when they are in a panic mode, they speak
Mhm.
very fast. they
Yes.
they they, they are tense and they talk fast. And when you are talking in a discussion, suddenly somebody interrupts because he wants to make that point, and that point he wants to cut off the person who's talking. That's the second point that I see. They become
Mhm.
also impatient. They don't listen, they don't understand, and they become, and if something is out of control, they want to also put that blame onto somebody else rather than taking a ownership. And they raise their voice, sometimes angry messages flow in, and
True.
few of the decisions are, you do it right now. That's the point that will come in. And angry, making decisions too quick, it spoils things, is what, as I told you, my boss wanted to listen every time any issue happens. Listen to this one, what is the There was one person called Sanjay Shah. Okay, he's my mentor. Okay. He used to handle projects across our organization, and he used to always say is that "Pele suno, listen, listen first, listen.
Yeah,
Listening is an art. If you listen to what others have to say, you will get clarity much better than what he is saying, right? So he
true,
used to always say, team notices these things. Imagine him fighting, hitting turbulence, right? Flight hitting turbulence. That's if pilot sounds frightened, passengers become also frightened, right? So
true,
that's the point. And leadership can work in the same way. So if a leader is panicking, the team also will panic, right? And that's where a calm leader can say, we have a problem. Here's what we have. Here's what we do not know, and here's what we are going to do next. I think that those statements help the team to understand it better is what I say. In Gallup's 2026 workplace data shows significant emotional pressure across different regions. In South Asia, 30% of the employees reported daily stress. That's the point that we say. While employee engagement is fallen by 21%. The engagement
true.
between the speaker, the leader, and the stakeholders has fallen. Now, I think in the Middle East and the African regions, daily stress is about 48%. That's what is the Gallup's report that is saying. When a leader carries panic into the room, the whole room starts carrying it.
True.
Right. So, how can a calm leadership, calm confidence help a leader make better decisions when the answer is not clear?
Okay. See, I will answer this question from the coaching lens, that which I tell all my clients, all those leaders, and which we are taught as a coach, that a client has all their answers within themselves. My job is to ask the right questions.
Questions.
So, same way, a leader who is having a calmness, or who has done the inner work on himself, who understands that there, if he takes a pause and if he looks within, he will get the answers. And many a times, I think we forget this. When we are kids, or when I remember teaching my kids the same thing, when you get a difficult question, read the question again, answer lies there, right? So, same way, I would say a leader should know that answer lies somewhere within the problem and somewhere here. So they should ask better questions from their team, look within themselves. Maybe you don't have the answers, but you have the data, you have the facts, you know what is your limitation, you know what are your challenges. One thing of caution I would say here to every leader I work with also, that if you don't have the full picture clear, don't make presumptions and don't make assumptions, because that is not what helps a leader at all. So what if answer is not clear? It can be found out, because every leader has a team which is very capable. Every project we work on, every organization we work on, we build teams where we have experts from each field. So if I don't know the answer, maybe someone else will know in my team. So rather than panicking, if I don't have the answer, I don't have to be clear today on to what I'm doing. I need to know what I should do today so that tomorrow is better.
Yeah.
So instead of worrying about outcome, I take an inspired action or an informed decision that would help me reach the answer. But if I panic, I would do wrong things. I would, as you mentioned, that you will get angry, you will do this now, you'll start shouting. So nothing is being achieved. We have all seen in the corporate world that leaders who are loudest or who are angrier do not get the things delivered. Yes, certain days it will be done, sometimes it would be done, but not always. And soon people will stop working with those leaders. And with Gen Z in the picture, that is very evident. I have seen a lot of managers complaining about Gen Z because they don't change their approach.
No, I think gone are those days where the old things work, right? So Gen Zs look at more innovative work. and quicker
Yes.
solutions, right? And
Yes. Yes.
today, you cannot control a Gen Z saying that you will work this time only. He'll say, I'll
Yes.
finish my work, right?
Yes.
My work is completed.
Yeah.
So, what time I work, how I work, your task is completed or the project work that is
Mhm.
completed, I'll work and
True.
finish on the based on the deadline. And
True.
if I am stuck, I'll definitely come back to you.
Yes.
That's it. Second point, you cannot say I will be monitoring. That is not going to happen with the current
Exactly.
environment, right? So
Exactly.
people are very clear in their requirements today. If you are saying 9 to 5, they are 9 to 5 there. Unless there is an emergency or a critical delivery, people will not tend to expand or extend things and do work. They are very focused today. This is the task. This is how I will do. This is what you will get as a result. So that is what I think. That's very clear with them.
True.
What should a leader do when they do not have all the information?
See, if they do not have all the information, just start asking questions and be honest. See, what I have seen, to tell you a fact, currently I work in a team where my manager is much younger than me. So
Hmm.
maybe at times he doesn't shy in asking questions. He tells me, and I've seen this all across my organization. We have a lot of departments where there are experienced people who work as advisors, and there are new young talent from now who are nationals. They need to be developed. They come as managers or at times as things, but they ask questions and they are honest about it. What I have seen, if they are honest about that, okay, I don't know, you tell me, because you are the SME, subject matter expert here, and we do the work and we do it in harmony. There has been no problems. So in my opinion, if you don't have the information, be open about it, go gather it, tell your team, okay, what is it to be doing. And being a leader, you should know how to work tactics. Like in India, we say sam dham dand bhed. We have to use all four of them, but as a leader you should know which one to use when,
When
so that you can get information. You have the access to data, you have everything, get it. And if you're a leader, your team will do it for you, provided you asked in a nice manner and you give them the why. If you give why, what, how, why
yeah,
and what, if you give, how team will figure out.
definitely. I think I wanted to say one pointer is that you need to ask the very important point is right questions.
Yes.
Now, if there is an issue, what is the issue? What is the impact? Now, if you go to the boardroom and say, you tell them, I need $10,000, they will ask you, was it for? What is it solving me? And how, what is the ROI for? Right?
True.
My boss used to tell when I was a program manager, he used to say, tell me three things. You have a challenge, right? So you are in a critical situation. You give me three things. How much money you need? What is the time duration, that duration or time? What are the resources? So if you can give me the three justifications, I'll sanction it to you. But after this, you should not come back to me and say, I need more. You plan your things. So cost, effort, and time.
Yes.
Cost, effort, and time. So when you talk about effort, it is more of resources. How many resources? People, systems, software, any tools, travels, all those things will come up. Time, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, 1 year. Okay. So when you get these two, the cost will definitely come. So many resources, so much is the cost, and you will get that cost and give it to me. With this, I will say I cannot give you this much. I'll give you three resources for 3 months, and this is the cost. So this is the type. Boards needs numbers. If you say numbers, in cybersecurity, we always tell one thing is, if I get this tool, I will implement the tool and I will cut down incident management by 30%. Give that number to the boards, they will approve yours, this one, because it's a challenge. Today, compliance is bigger because the fines also are bigger,
True.
right? I think that's the important point. Now, what I've seen leaders is we think too much of tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
And that tomorrow spoils today, right?
True.
How can leaders stop overthinking without being careless or becoming careless?
Okay. I would challenge this question little bit. I would say that overthinking and carelessness aren't really a calm leader's issues,
Okay.
because if they are both, they will happen to someone who's already living more in the future, as you said, rather than staying in the present. That's why they are overthinking. And carelessness is also panic that rushes. they
Mm.
look they actually look like opposites, but they come from a same place. If a leader is centered and is in the situation, he will not overthink. He will focus on his actions day by day, because he has the big picture in his mind. He envisions things and he prepares his team accordingly, because he has a project plan, he has a yearly plan, he has a monthly plan, and he'll keep on going back to his team. So that is how it is there. A calm leader doesn't actually swing between these two. He will sit in middle where clear decisions are getting made. So that is why it is there. And also, definitely, and panic will freeze a person.
Mm.
So again, coming back to the same point, that let's make calm confidence as your this thing, and always be prepared. If I really love quoting here Stephen Covey and his book, this Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That book
Yeah.
has really made an impression on me and my career. So I would say, if we follow his 7 steps of be proactive, understood before understanding, and take actions and be prepared for the worst, and whatever, I can't remember all the 7 habits right
Dependent
now.
and independent, interdependent, and stuff like, yeah.
Yes, yes.
The inner circle.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So if that is what calm leader is all about. So if he's there, there is no thinking, and there will be no overthinking, and there will be no carelessness. But yes, if we do not maintain that calmness or that balance within ourselves, we will reach there.
I love Stephen Covey's. I've been at a part of the sessions
Training.
in Wipro
Okay.
where we were
Okay.
the leadership. There was
Okay.
high impact presentations from Dale Carnegie, Six
Okay.
Thinking Hats, and the I forgot,
I think Six
Stephen.
Thinking Hats is by Bono,
Bono.
somebody named Bono,
Yeah,
and Dale Carnegie
yeah,
is the How Not to Worry. Stephen
yes.
Covey is more of the 7 habits. I'm
Seven.
sure you would have all three trainings.
All three things were a 7 day session. So I think we've got
Yeah.
in one of his this one. There was that ship thing, right? I am the mighty Rosa ship that I am coming,
Okay.
and please move away. So
Okay.
that guy will say, "Who's this guy?" He'll say, "I am a lieutenant." How can a lieutenant command a uh, captain to move the ship aside,
Okay.
right? And when the lieutenant asks, "If you don't move, I'll fire you," the captain responds. The lieutenant responds, "If you don't move, it's your challenge. This is the lighthouse."
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a very important point that
Mm,
Stephen
true.
Covey talks about, and I've, as you rightly said, it also has impacted me very well the way I talk to people. And Seven Habits has been one of the best books that I've ever been trained on. Right, so I think my one last question that I have: how
Sure.
can leaders confidently say, "I don't know yet," without losing trust?
See, it's not always about saying the words I don't know.
Mm.
Sometimes you frame it differently, and I have seen it a lot with leaders playing here.
Okay.
And you also said from the beginning, we are talking about a leader listen more than he speaks. So he will if he speaks less and listens more, and saying that he understands first and then makes himself understood later. So he doesn't have to say it out in words, he just have to ask questions in a different manner. He has to ask, okay, how do we solve this issue? I am facing this problem. You don't have to ask like, I don't know, that is again like panicking. You just have to say, okay, this is the problem, let's have a brainstorm and see how five different ways of solving this issue. And he can always let his uh, team compete on two answers. And if it is in front of the board, you can always say that, okay, this is how I approached this problem, I had these many resources, I worked my way through, but there is a stumbling block which where I am stuck. Either it's resource which maybe I am blindsided because I am working so much on it. You need to I need help. So asking for help is also there, and different ways we can frame up the question. But all this can again be done only with when you have calmness and when you have the composure within yourself. It's very important for a leader to be composed and understanding the situation. If he keeps panicking, again he will keep doing that, and you never lose trust. See, your team understands that this is a situation which we are facing, not that we are not failing the leader, we are failing the situation. So you have to the leader has to identify himself away from the problem. He does not have to target himself, he has to target the problem. In coaching we say, don't coach the person, coach the problem.
Yeah. So I think when you say there's a book down there, which is Seven Habits, next to the Thinking to Results, you see
Yes,
that there's a
yes,
book there. Yeah.
yes, I can see that.
Okay. So that was the course material that I used part of Wipro. And
Okay.
now I think one point that I would like to add to the question, I don't know, right, where we've been taught in our leadership lessons and the management, this one, where is leader does not need to know everything, right?
True.
The first point. The second point that he says, if you say don't know, it is a confidence rather than a vulnerability. So I think when a leader says I don't know, he's asking for help, right? That's the first point. I think what my seniors or the mentors who I worked with said was, you go to a meeting and say I don't know is a problem. But if you know the basics and get into a meeting and say, this is what I understand, this is what it how it works, but if you want in-depth technical detailing on that, my SME will talk to you,
True.
right? So I can say I understand this as a challenge, but I have people who are SMEs under that and they can help you solve this problem. That
True.
becomes a strength where we say I have a team backing me if there's an issue and I don't have full information, which we spoke about some time back, where we said
Yes.
you don't need to have all the information also, saying that we'll gather information as we pass by, right, and we move
True.
ahead on the project. So I think that is, leaders will not have always be perfect, having the perfect information. This is normal is what I feel. And the mistake is believing that confident means always having all the answers immediately and responding immediately, right? It does not need. There are situations where people have told me that you don't have an answer, tell this, I will come back to you. As I told you, this stakeholders thing, stakeholder one, stakeholder two, stakeholder three, my boss used to say, sir, this is an issue which will be addressing next week. So we are putting that timeline. And this is an issue which is not part of our project, which could be a scope deviation, which we need to talk in a separate discussion.
True.
But for us to record that is out of scope, I am recording it. So you can still make that clearly saying to the customer, saying this is where we. So he used to give us and one important point, Usha, was that he told me one pointer is, you have a problem today, but can if you can solve 30% with what you know, start today and solve that 30%. So tomorrow
Yes.
you have 70% left. You can
Yes.
think about the 70% tomorrow with a different team and say, this is what is the challenge that I have. Can you help me? Tomorrow, if you solve 50%, 30 and 50 or 80, so 20 is left. So you've cleared the pointer there. Rather than saying that I don't know and keeping the 100% as it is.
True.
So that's the pointers that I wanted to have. And one pointer that is confidence is not having every answer which we spoke. It is knowing how to move forward when answer is incomplete. Right. So
Definitely.
that is what I with this Usha, I have my questions and done for the podcast. I have few comments coming on the chat. I'm just
Sure.
bringing them to show it to you.
Sure.
One comment is saying, Deepthi says, Hi Usha.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi,
And,
Deepthi.
and then we have Kapil saying, Hello everyone.
Hi, Kapil.
Yeah. Then we have Anindo Biswa saying, very rightly said. And
Thanks, Anindo, for
then,
listening and being there.
then we have Dr. Ritu Gupta saying, Hello all. Yeah.
Hi.
And then
Hello, Ritu.
Ritu also says, Love the still framework. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and we have Kapil Goyal saying that, well said, pur- pehle suno. So listening is an art. So this half of the problems go away just by listening because the team has floods. They are feeling anxious. If they just see someone there standing next to them, they feel empowered. I completely agree with you, Kapil, on this because people make mistakes and you say that mistake, somebody as a leader can own it or stand by it. I think half you won the battle is what I feel. Usha, your pointer on this, if you have to add, Usha.
Yes, definitely. I 100% agree to Kapil. And in coaching also, we listen. And I have heard it somewhere, pehle suniye, I have heard it somewhere that God has given us 2 ears and one mouth so that we speak less and listen more. So that's what I would say to it.
Okay. So again, I have Aditi Goyal saying hi. Right, and these are the
I
comments that I have.
thank
And
you.
with this, I would like to summarize few pointers which we've discussed over the last. I have few audience questions which I want to
Sure,
paste it here before we go into the summarization. I am pasting it because it's come into the chat. I'm just
sure.
pasting it here. So this is the first question that I have.
Okay.
When pressure increases at work, what happens to you first?
Okay. So you want me to answer?
Yes, ma'am.
So I will say that it's not that pressure increases it's not, no answer is good or bad, right? Some people, everybody reacts differently in a different manner, right? So I would say some people will speak too fast, some people will start overthinking, some people will go silent, some people will become impatient, you mentioned, some people will get angry, some people will do many things. So none of this is good or bad, it's just that we are trying to grab back our control. That's what we do. Or as humans we want to control everything. So my this thing is, if we stop controlling the outcomes and just be in the moment, that helps more. And I'm saying this from my experience, as I mentioned to you before, that when I got diagnosed with cancer, I had a lot of pressure to do many things. But
Hmm.
in that situation I had only one thing, that I should just focus on my treatment and focus on defocusing my thoughts away from my treatment so that I can be more happy and enjoy whatever I can do. If I can work today, I enjoy that. So that's what I do. If my pressure increases first, for me, I do is I laugh so that I am lighter.
Got it. Usha, there is one more question which is come here is this is what is the hardest for the leaders today? And they have given me four options here,
Okay.
which is staying calm, saying I don't know, listening without reacting, making difficult discussions.
Okay. So I would say, to me, to answer this question, I think as and when you go up the ladder, saying that I don't know becomes more harder,
Mm,
because the higher you go, your ego kicks in more, and it's
okay.
more difficult to accept your mistakes or bring up those answers. Whereas when we are kids or when we are smaller, we don't say, we easily say, I don't know. But as you also rightly said, not all leaders need to have all the answers, and we don't have to punish ourselves for being a leader. Sometimes
Mm,
we can be wrong, we can be not in the knowing, so accepting is not difficult. But as you said, we can always say, okay, I know little bit of it, am I correct? Can you
mm,
enlighten me? And it always helps if a leader goes and says, can you enlighten me? This is my understanding. The person on the other side would be more than happy to give the answer than feeling that my leader doesn't know this.
yeah, just give me a second.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. With this, I think we are on top of the hour. Usha, with this, we would
Yes.
like to conclude our session. The
Sure.
takeaways, I will paste it on the comments window so that we
Sure.
can have that comments what we've done in the last 50 minutes of our podcast. Any
Sure.
final words that you would like to add as part of the session before we conclude, Usha?
The final thing I would tell people is keep building yourself. I would say a famous quote: Rome was not built in one day.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
same way, nobody can build you as a leader in a day or in a way. So, keep practicing your leadership skills, whatever it is, whether it's living in the moment, stop overthinking, and handling the pressure well day by day rather than just waiting for the pressure moment and doing it's like a muscle. We can't go to gym and be a bodybuilder in a day. It takes
Yeah,
effort, time, and process to do that. Same is true for projects, and same is true for a human being. Keep building your keep taking small baby steps to reach there.
yeah. With that, I think we are on top of the hour again. Usha, thank you for making this conversation that sounds complicated feel very simple and human. Your message remains as leadership is about pretending that pressure does not exist. It's about not allowing pressure to decide how we behave. And with that,
True.
we would like to conclude our session for the day. And thank you for joining us today. With this, thank you, audience, for
Thank you,
joining us
Mr.
today.
Prem.
And good day and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you, Mr. Prem, and all the people who joined.
Yeah, thank you.